Hello. Are we live?
Hi. Yeah, we're live now.
We're live?
Sweet.
The gang's all here.
Oh my God, it's so great to see everyone.
This is a rarity, but nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So chime in the comments. This is another rare one, folks. You got all five of us here.
Doesn't happen often. Gabe, what's going on there? It looks like the lights are off.
Oh, yeah, guys, this is my new screensaver. It's the RFK Bridge. I'm out at Astoria Park, and I'm here with a friend here. Hold on. You guys might recognize him. Hold on. Here we go.
Hey, everyone. I hope you still recognize
Hey, Klaus.
Hey, Klaus.
I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
Yeah.
That's right. That mask can't hide the voice.
That mask can't hide the voice, right? So Klaus and I are out shooting tonight. We were so inspired by OPTIC that we had to get out and get shooting.
All right.
So.
Hey, Jen. Oh, man. That was inspiring, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, it was so. I know it was a lot of work. You know, I know you guys did a lot of work. David did a lot of work. We've been working on it, you know, behind the scenes at B&H for over a month, fast and furious.
Yes.
And then especially the last 2 weeks were like 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day working on it.
Wow.
Chained to my desk. So of course, the first thing I had to do when it was done was get outside. This is the first time I've been outside in a month.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Jeez.
So, Gabe, how does that compare to planning not a virtual, but a real life in the person, in the flesh conference?
Well, I mean,
time-wise.
I mean, I think we always kind of, you know, you start the groundwork 3 to 6 months earlier, but things really, you know, start to pick up steam in that 2 to 3 months prior to it, and really it's that last month that it's really crunch time where, and for this one, being that it was, you know, online and virtual and not live. We did something this time different from the OPTIC in June, which was we recorded all the main stage presentations. And so that was a lot of work. And that was a lot of work for David's team. He had a very small, like Navy SEALs team that were, you know, working with the speakers and doing all that stuff. I was sort of on the back end because I did a lot of Q&As with the speakers in the in the B&H experts room, because there's 4 stages. There's 4 stages you guys can all check out and drop in the chat. I can't see the chat, so you guys have to let me know. But how many stages did everyone get to? Did everyone even find all 4 of them? Was that an issue? You know, or, you know, in which, you know, obviously the main stage gets a lot of love. You know, the best speakers like Entan are on the main stage.
Hey.
You know, right? You know, Art Wolf, Franz.
So you're talking about? Are you talking about the different
rooms?
rooms, Gabriel? Are you talking about the different rooms, like the?
So
expert
yeah. There's the main stage, which was all the recorded stuff, as well as David broadcasting from, you know, 25th Street in Manhattan, and then there was 3 other Zoom rooms, which was the trade show, and it was there that you would go see. You would go see some of the vendors. Here we go. Yep, there is screen share.
Yep.
So, yep. And right, you could still actually see the videos from the main stage now, and that's the schedule. But if you click on the trade show, that was where, and you can see the schedules will come down day 1, day 2. There was the Explore room, which these were now a lot of the sponsor rooms, but they also had some, you know, gear stuff, but also like some inspiration. And a lot of those, if there was a Nikon speaker, Canon speaker, Sony speaker, they would jump into those rooms afterwards and do a Q&A. So I know that like Babak, he did a speak. He's a Sigma. He's sponsored by Sigma. He jumped in there, and then I ran the experts room. I was that was my mini OPTIC room, and that was super fun, but very busy. We had a lot of great classes. I did see Eunice in there quite a bit, I will say. So hi to Eunice. And I think Martha Hale dropped in as well, and a couple other people. dropped in, so I really appreciate it. It was a bit of a bummer. You couldn't see people, right? So I missed that aspect totally. But if people chatted in, I recognized them, and then I would be like, chat. So, funny story. This person's chatting to me and is like, because we're running behind the schedule. And this person's chatting with me and he's like, I'm bummed I missed this class that I came at one time and it was over. And this gentleman's name was John Sexton. And I'm like, okay, and then after 2 or 3 dialogues with him, I'm like, are you the John Sexton? Like Ansel Adams, like one of his last assistants, and am I talking, and he's like, I kind of talked him up a little bit. He's like, and he was very humble. He was like, I'm just this black and white photographer, and I'm like, no, you're not. No. Let's get you an optic next year. Come on, John.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I've met him recently and he's a really nice guy.
He was super humble.
Yeah, super nice guy. He was somebody I always wanted to study with as I was coming up, and I never did. And so I was able to teach with him at a conference a while back, and it was a real pleasure to meet him and be in the presence of one of my heroes. So
totally. I mean, that man knows how to print a black and white image. Wow.
And he's one of the few people who claim to have been Ansel Adams' assistant who actually was.
Then there is that, right? Then there is that. Another interesting guy who was in there was Frank Ruggles. Chris, you got to know Frank, right?
No, I don't think I do.
He's got this book. He works very closely with the park. He shoots mainly with 11 by 14, 8 by 10. He's a friend of Clyde, and he actually lives in, I think, North Carolina, South Carolina, but he's got the book Chasing Light, and it's all about the national parks, and it's almost in every national park gift shop.
Oh, cool.
But he came in as a speaker for Lee Filters, and it was really great to see his work, and amazing, beautiful images. And actually, that was the class that John Sexton was bummed that he missed. It was Frank Ruggles.
What's his last name, Gabe?
Ruggles, Ruggles.
Cool. We need to look that up. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely check him out. He works with the parks a lot. He's doing this really cool project because I think it is 79 years since Ansel first went and documented the parks on the grant from the government.
Right.
And so he's doing this 79-year, and it's an open sort of invite, and he's working with a lot of Ansel's old assistants because his layout of his darkroom is to spec of Ansel Adams.
Wow.
Very cool.
Pretty cool.
All right.
So you guys, come on, talk to me about the main stage. I was just this guy in this little Zoom room. Well, you guys were on the main stage. How was that? How'd that feel?
That was kind of like a little Zoom room in terms of experience on our end,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You guys, you were the only person on the main stage that was 3 people.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I was happy to be there. I wish it had been in person, and we were all standing there next to each other. Yeah. The energy is just so different, right?
It is. Agreed.
One thing that I really liked about it was it gave me more of an opportunity to actually watch and listen to both you and Chris, Lance. So I was able to really pay attention to what you guys were saying and showing your pictures. Because, of course, for those of you out there that are watching, we don't often get to see a lot of each other's imagery. And we don't always get to hear each other teach. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that. I was like, ooh, I'm just settling in. I'm watching, this is great. So that was fun for me. That was an added benefit of doing it online.
Well, Tim, you're always so nervous when especially if you got to speak next. You're like always like, I can't hear anything. I got to focus. Got to breathe. I got to, So yeah, it was nice. Right?
And the other great thing. No, I shouldn't say this. No, I'm not going to go any further. I'm just going to leave that.
Well, it's weird for me. I'm more comfortable standing on a stage with several hundred people in the room than I am in front of a camera with 2 people. That makes me wig out. So,
wow. Well, the one time that we did OPTIC, all 5 of us were up there. Do you guys remember that was like 4 years ago or something?
Yeah,
That was the first
special.
OPTIC. Yeah.
the very
First
first one.
That's the only time I've experienced a panic attack on stage. I mean, Gabe, you say I get nervous, but it's like fun, excited energy. That I actually had a full-blown panic attack. And that's the only time I was ever speaking when I was a complete out-of-body experience. It was very strange, which did not happen this time.
Is because we didn't rehearse that, really?
I think so. Yeah. You know what it is? Actually, I'll tell you what it is I don't really enjoy talking about myself and my work. Like, I'm just so accustomed to teaching and saying, this is this and this is how it works. But for me to put something up that I've done and speak about it, I feel really uncomfortable. And I think that was our shtick then. That was our thing for that particular talk. And I just don't do good at that. I'm just like, ooh, people don't want to hear about me. I want to teach photography. Hey, this is an f-stop, I can do that. But yeah, that would be out.
All right. Well, Tim, next time then we'll all talk about not our own work, but someone else's work within NPAN.
Oh, that's
a cool idea.
Right?
I like that idea.
Now the butterfly's gone. Well, you guys.
So we're
so
pretending to explain how
recorded
somebody
this.
else did this? Yeah.
You,
Go ahead.
So you guys recorded your talk, right,
Mhm.
prior. And how was that? How was working with David and Fred and the OPTIC crew?
That was great.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah. You're lucky when you work with B&H, the experts on every level there. I think most people who work with B&H do it as a consumer, and you deal with expertise of the salespeople, which is great. But when you get to work behind the scenes of them, there's just everybody's an expert. So like in this case, we get to deal with a video production expert and people who know how to put on an online conference, and then you got David, who's an expert at just putting together a conference, and so everything's good. You're really comfortable in that. Just everybody knows what they're doing. And as a presenter, it allows you to just feel confident and just focus on teaching.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
That's a really good point, Chris. You say that, and I've thought about this many, many times, but it is so true when you look at the people we work with at B&H and the depth of their knowledge, not only in their whatever they're trained in, but just in everything. And it fascinates me. Like Gabe, I sat through your talk on equipment,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I know equipment, but it's like, damn, he is really good. He just knows so much.
and I was going a mile a minute, so you're like, whoa, that's how a real New Yorker talks.
Tim, it's funny you say that, because I was thinking the exact same thing while watching Gabe. It's just like, Gabe, is there any equipment question that somebody can throw at you that you can't answer?
If there is, I then the next day, the next week, I just immerse myself in it, because when you first start working at B&H, inevitably people like to play stump the B&H guy, and so we carry 600,000 items, and that's an intimidating sort of thing to learn.
Good.
But I will say, if I don't know the answer, or if someone at B&H doesn't know the answer, we do find someone that does. And I've definitely emailed people and talked to people and said, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know, but let me get back to you. Let me email you back. I will get back to you and then find you an answer. And
I've never heard you say that, Gabriel. That's
No, but you're right. That seems to be, I don't know if you guys are, the B&H crew are trained that way or hired that way. But I've experienced that in the store where I'm looking for something and I ask a salesperson and they don't BS me. They'll say, I don't know, but I'm going to go get so-and-so and he can answer your question.
Yep.
And there's always somebody around who just knows a ton about what you're asking for.
I can vouch for that. It's part of the training.
Yeah.
It's bedrock. It's bedrock. It's what they want you to do.
Cool.
And then there's training throughout the year, so that you could, even as, and I mean, I don't actually know how it's going on now because there's limited staff at, the store's open, but a lot of the corporate offices are still minimally open. But we used to have a training center, and we get an email every day in 4 days of the week, Monday through Thursday, and there's training. And I would get the email, everyone would, and you could sit in not only on the photo stuff, but I could go and sit in on an audio training. I could go and sit on a video training. I could go sit on all the different things and products. And so I'm just curious about it because everything is, interwoven, and if I want to upgrade my, home theater, then I sit in on that training. But I don't know. What are people saying in the chat? What was their favorite classes? What were their favorite experiences?
We had some awesome responses here.
Okay.
Eunice saying it was awesome. Jen saying we did a good job. Ed said the rooms were easy to get to. We have Juan saying hello.
Good. I did see Ed. I saw Ed there.
Yep.
Yeah, and Rich, I saw you there.
Yep. And then Eunice said she went to all of the rooms. Sandra said hello. And we're getting back to the earliest stuff here, which is, we're ready for a fun night. And we have a whole bunch of people here from a whole bunch of places. So love getting the comments from you guys. Thank you.
So I just have to say this, that, the announcement of the Fiddle was a real highlight for me.
Let's talk about the Fiddle, and let's talk about that Tim has already ordered 3 more fiddles. Tim has got an orchestra of fiddles coming his way.
Have my own little concerto, huh? Little chamber music.
Tim, did you sit in on the Fiddle release party?
No, and I wish I had.
I did. I caught a little more than half of that with Casey and Josh. So that was really cool. So I think most of the people who've chimed in with comments probably know what we're talking about, but for the wider audience who don't, Luxley has just announced a new light to their orchestra line, and that is obviously the Fiddle. It's a smaller LED light panel like the viola that we've been using for a few years now, except it has an integrated battery and some new features. It goes dimmer, and it has the diffuser hood is now attached with magnets, so it's really cool and easy and simple to use. It's updated to Bluetooth 5, so it has a longer range on it. New app coming out, and I'm really excited to try to put it on a drone and see what we can do with that. Something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but this seems like the time to give it a shot.
We'll work it out, Lance, you and I.
All right.
Check out that. That's the one I would get right now. That one right there. You get it with a mini ball head and a magnet adapter. That's if I were to get one right now, get that, and then the diffusion panel. I mean, if you already have a mini ball head, that's cool, but that's a big upgrade from the ball head you normally had on the viola. That's a nice ball head, and then the magnets. You can now stick it. I don't know if it would magnet to the drone or not, but that opens up a lot of other sort of opportunities. Obviously, not maybe at Joshua Tree, but I think indoors, because these are great lights. Let's be honest; these are great lights for light painting, but they're great lights also for, I could use one right now.
Yeah, you could.
They're in stock.
You could use a few of them right now, Gabe.
I could use a few of them right now. Sorry about that.
You're gonna get one Curry or Astoria.
So guys, I actually already bought a second one. I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
I know I'm gonna have 2. I'm pretty excited. And the other thing, before we get back, let me jump away from the fiddle for a second. I had never really thought much about this, Lance, until you were talking about, and Gabe talking about using light stands, because I always carry around an extra tripod with me to stick my Luxley on, my viola. And, I don't know why it never dawned on me, but to have the light at 6 feet high is going to put so much less splay on the foreground,
Yep.
And I'm carrying around a tripod that's nearly twice as heavy as a lightweight light stand. And so I'm getting some light stands coming. And Gabriel, you're the one that clued me into that new Manfrotto one that is the carbon fiber light stand. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to be spending some money in the next couple of days. But yeah, so my new kit is going to be several light stands and a couple of passports and a couple of violas, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Nice.
It's funny. It's kind of like getting back to the old days of location lighting kits, except the kit is about 1/10 the weight of what we used to carry around.
Right.
And
No Norma blitzes, Norman light.
Right. No arcing heads either. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
No.
It's amazing, right? I mean, it's so amazing how not just obviously cameras, but lighting and light stands and tripods.
Batteries.
I mean, our whole kit can be so much lighter. And I mean, let's be, Matt loves bringing the kitchen sink, but Matt, the kitchen sink is all pretty much made of carbon fiber now. You can bring the kitchen sink and the fridge.
Right. Yeah. Anybody remember carting around one of those Norman 4,000 watt-second packs?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Matt does.
Almost got electrocuted by one. Yeah. That's the ground line Speedotron. Yeah. Really dating myself here.
So getting back to that fiddle, Lance and I have been chatting offline a little bit over the past couple of weeks about maybe getting a drone, and of course doing some drone lighting, and the fiddle might be an option for that.
So how do you think it'll attach? What's your thoughts?
I don't know.
Magnet.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be
20?
No, there's Lytra makes an attachment that will hold it nicely. So we just have to see if the Lytra attachment plus the 10 ounces of the fiddle are within the capability of the Mavic Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. But so
it's I did some research on the proper grip equipment, and it goes around the body of the drone, attaches with a really tight rubber band, and then has a 1/4-20 with a little mini head on it.
Interesting.
The tough part is the range of the Bluetooth is pretty limited. So I'm not sure. I was thinking we'd have one person controlling the light and one person controlling the drone, but you're not. Unless it's within 100 feet, we're not going to be able to adjust the light or turn the light on and off while flying. So you're going to have to angle it down and then angle it back up again. To achieve your lighting.
Are these the ones you're talking about, Lance?
I can't see your shared screen. It's just black for me.
Oh yeah, so they're definitely the ones. Yeah.
It must be.
Nice. Well, I've got a drone. Maybe I'll try that out first before you guys do it, or Eunice, she's got a drone too. So,
all right,
either one of us will get back to you, and before you drop everything, and because if that's key, which I think that's, I know Lance, you've been talking about drones for a while, but it seems like you want to use it not just only for the point of view, but for lighting. Possibilities.
There's a guy named Ruben Wu who's done a body work called Lux Noctis, that's drone lit images, and that really got my my thinking process going on that. I'm not sure, his stuff is very precision. He's doing some light patterns like perfect circles over a rock spire, things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Beautiful.
How he's pulling that off with the limited range of Bluetooth.
You set it and then you fly it,
and then you edit the other lights out.
set it and fly it. Yep.
Yeah, but I want to do it without having to Photoshop out the trails from the unintended trails.
You would.
But, yeah. Hey, to address Ed's question, but we don't talk about those things.
Well, no, that wasn't Ed. That was Eunice, right? Wait,
no. The Lim cubes.
The Loom Cubes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they and that's what most people are doing, and they make DJI makes a Loom Cube attachment specifically for putting them on there.
Right.
But
now Eunice made a good point, which we have reiterated many, many times, which is you're not allowed to fly drones in national parks. So please don't be silly.
Bureau of Land Management does not have that restriction, at least not a blanket restriction. Right. So someplace like Alabama Hills, no problem. You know, the Standing Stones we're going to be shooting in Orkney next May, or off the icebergs out in Greenland. You know, there's a lot of places where you can fly a drone and not bother anybody else, except maybe a few seals or penguins or something.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there an airwolf mode where like they're quiet and they're not annoying like mosquitoes?
Nope.
I mean, like, just to go back to what you were talking about with Ruben Wu, if you saw the, I don't know, Joe Biden's speech, there at the end of it, there was a whole bunch of drones doing stuff in the air. It's the same thing where it's programming. You know, you say fly these coordinates in this vector, and that's what it is. So.
That is pretty amazing. That you know, when you look at that, and I knew that those were drones right away because I remember that was done at the Super Bowl like 4 years ago, and the newspapers made a whole to-do about it. And then when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, it's got to be drones. That's it, and that's insane. But let's get back to like the basics on photography and why we want to get a light high in the sky. It's just that is really nice lighting, you know. I mean, now we're mimicking the moon, you know, or the sun, or that gentle light that can kind of come down. You know, we don't like uplight, we don't like monster light mostly, you know, and the challenge with the Luxleys and everything has been to get it on a light stand and hopefully get that light stand high, you know, but you know, we're talking 6 or 7 feet, but now we can get really interesting lighting on these bigger rocks and structures and all these sort of things like that. So uniquely with the, with the drone, and I'll guarantee you that we'll go above 1% power too, for the first time ever.
But you know, I think it's about lighting that's unexpected. You know, creating a surreal scene in these. You've got the surreal, amazing landscapes of the American West. Intensified, you know, on steroids when they're lit from a way that you just can't understand or you don't expect to see.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's not going to be a subtle effect for, you know, the nature photographers, you know, NANPA rules, the no hand of man thing. It's going to be pretty obvious, but I think that's, it's in line with my own lighting aesthetic anyway. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm lighting something. So.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Gabe, question. Are those OPTIC show specials still running? And if they are, how long would they be running for?
Yeah, I think the OPTIC show specials are running. Most of them are running until Sunday. But I will say the Fiddle deal, which, you know, Matt, when have you heard of any product coming out and as soon as it's launched, it's on sale? That never, ever happens. But they did it with the Fiddle and again, so you get $40 off the Fiddle as well as all, you know, the different components and kits you can get it with. And that's going on until the end of the year.
All right, cool.
Wow.
So I think it's $199.
There's a bright spot in 2020.
Yeah.
I saw they had a brief, like a 6-hour flash special with 3 cellos for $529.
Yeah.
That was insane.
You see another one of those, Lance, send it to Tim.
Right. But that's a lot more light than we're ever going to use, really.
Yeah.
Except maybe in Matt's studio there.
Right. Well, now's the time for sure. I mean, Chris, I don't know if you want to tease anyone what this week's blog post is going to be, but right, obviously now,
Yeah, go ahead.
From Black Friday until, Black Friday through Cyber Monday, and then throughout, usually the rest of to the holidays, really deals go on, and there's some of the great deals. And if you see something, get it. I mean, last year I got a D750. It was like $1,100, and that's still to this date the lowest price it's ever been. And I just needed that second camera, and I got it. I mean, even the 750 is dated or whatever. And even if I knew that the 780 would have been coming out, which I didn't, I probably would have still got it just again because it's a great camera, and for that price, that's awesome. But yeah, Chris, what's happening Friday? When is the blog coming out this week?
Well, the blog will be out on Saturday.
Okay.
And that's going to be our annual gift guide. But Gabe, just, along the lines of what you were just talking about, there's so many specials. Everybody knows. We got Black Friday coming up, Cyber Monday, and for the last few years, we've on this weekend we've done a page on the website where we just list every deal that we come across on the products that we like, and we're going to be doing the same thing this weekend. So we'll probably post that Friday morning, and we'll just keep that going right through Monday. We'll update it every time we see something. So keep an eye on our social media for that Friday morning.
So Chris, you're going to be dialed into me, and I'll be dialed into B&H, and then the others, and we got to keep on this.
Yep. And, is it okay to say that B&H has already started announcing their Black Friday deals?
I mean, right? They
you go to the website, you can see them.
I mean, and everyone is. I mean, it's been a rough year, right, in the retail world, and people are trying to recover a little bit from that, and I think a good thing for the audience, consumers, everyone out there is that now the Black Fridays are deals, right? People are making them a week long, 2 weeks long, and that's cool. So that, sorry about that, excuse me, but that was not a motorcycle.
Yeah, but we've seen some deals from Manfrotto too, and Moo, who makes the such great business cards. They've got a Black Friday deal going already, and Adobe has already announced theirs. They're running like about 25% off their plans, and that's the tip of the iceberg. We're going to see a ton of stuff.
Apple already announced theirs too.
Yeah, and they'll be running more than just a couple of days this year with the situation such as it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So right, you remember when it was like Black Friday or Green Friday, and you'd spend all day either outside or inside on the computer
Right.
looking for all the deals. Now you can actually still go out, take a walk, maybe take a couple of pictures, as well. You don't have to feel so frantic.
And opt in while opting out.
Exactly. You can opt out and in at the same day.
Yes.
It's all about finding balance now.
Yeah. True that.
So
speaking of balance, Gabe.
What's that?
Speaking of balance, Gabe, is Klaus standing there watching you, or is he shooting?
No, he's under the RFK bridge. So we're at this really cool spot. We're at it's Astoria Park. So check this out. So Klaus and I we've been texting and saying it's like, let's go out, let's go shoot, and we did a night shoot with a friend of ours, Marco. I think in January we went to Red Hook, and that was in January, February. We're like, whoa, I wonder what's going to happen. If this whole thing is going to come over here. And yeah, that was the last time I saw Klaus, and the last night shoot really I did. Besides, obviously, I was fortunate enough to go to Lofoten. But so Klaus and I have been texting. He's been doing a great job posting as usual, the wonderful New York shots and everything. And I knew that the day after OPTIC, I would need a release, and I wanted to go on a shoot. So I reached out to Klaus, and then we chose this location. We're in Astoria Park. So we're in between the RFK Bridge, which is right there. And then you probably won't be able to see it, but I really like Hell's Gate Bridge. is awesome. It's a railroad only bridge, old school bridge. It's not, obviously it doesn't get as much love as Brooklyn, Manhattan and everything, but that is an awesome bridge. And by the way, see those bright lights behind me? Those are soccer fields. People were playing soccer there until about 10 minutes ago. It's like 40 degrees out there. Who's playing soccer at 40 degrees?
Oh, you run around and stay warm.
Yeah, exactly. So check this out. So Klaus and I decide that we're going to do this shoot in this location. So I Google Astoria Park at night.
Oh no.
The only thing that comes up is Matt Hill, a blog that he wrote. Like, I don't know, how old is that blog, Matt? Like 10 years old, 8 years old, or whatever it is?
Probably, yeah.
You are, both Klaus and I said, sorry, we're going to ruin your SEO. We're going to go home tonight and write blogs about Astoria Park. And
please. This is Hellgate. I'm sure this is a picture from under Hellgate right there.
That concrete foundation and real steel. Oh, it's a beautiful, right? Matt, you used to live, how far away were you from this?
20-minute walk. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm obviously bummed, Matt, that you're not here. This has been one of those awesome times that I would be coming to your neighborhood.
Hashtag upstate life. Yeah.
Hashtag it's all changed to yes.
Yeah. There's another one. Hope you get to see that view too.
That is Hell's Gate right there.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful. So check this out. Here's will show what a rookie I am, with the camera, because it's been a while, and I've been using my Nikon Z6 as a webcam. And when you use the Nikon Zs as webcams, you got to put it in DX mode. So I climb out to that almost a similar location where Matt was shooting, clambering over all these rocks, and all I brought was my 24-70 lens, and I'm like, what happened to 24 millimeter? Why is it no longer wide? What does it mean? What's going on? And I'm like, oh man. But check this out, Matt. You'll appreciate this. Hold on.
You got a speed booster to fix it. Oh.
I also brought this camera, Matt. You know this guy.
Oh, Mamiya 7.
Mamiya 7 with my 43.
All right.
Yeah,
and I'm looking through the viewfinder, the 43, which is equivalent of a 21. And I'm like, I got the whole bridge in the shot. How come my 24? I'm not getting the whole bridge in the shot. What's going on? And I'm like, and then Klaus had his 8-15. He's like, here, I'll lend you the 8-15. And I'm like, all right. I put the 8-15 on, and then I'm like, there's this weird. I'm in DX mode, which DX now stands for damn it mode.
So Gabe, it just occurred to me why you know so much about so much gear. It's because you own all of it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. Well, that totally, Chris. I'm 100% there. We can read specs, and all that stuff. But for me, I'm always been someone who's got to be hands-on. For me, it all clicks when I use it, when I see it, and, that's like lighting I needed to learn lighting to understand the lighting tools, right? And it's a lot of that similar with it. Lucky at, I work at B&H. I don't have to buy everything. I can borrow stuff.
Right.
Or I can use their friendly return policy, but but yeah, it's we got a lot. So anyways, I got myself out of DX mode. Thank you very much.
Oh man, it's funny how often we make those mistakes, and we don't get to often talk about it in front of people, but it's like,
but we try not to.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh, sorry.
If I had a nickel for every time I did something like that, I'd have like $17. It's just.
Yeah, Tim, let's not bring up the New Zealand trip, right? Hello.
That was a long time ago. And
it still hurts. It still hurts. I'm gonna share that story with what is it, New Zealand Air, and see if they give you a free ticket.
That would be great. That would be really nice.
Wouldn't that be a great marketing thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wow. We don't need to tell
but-
that story right now, right?
No, we don't need.
I mean, we put it in a blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you guys see anyone else? What did you think about any of the other like main stage speakers?
I unfortunately didn't get to see much at all. Gabe, I saw your talk, and that was it. I've been
Tim,
crazy busy.
I really hope you saw Sandra Ramos's talk.
I did see that talk. And that was excellent.
If not,
Yes,
Conveniently forgot that one there.
we were so excited to have a spot for her, and I tell you something. That was the first time I've heard about that talk, but that's the first time I got to hear that talk in sort of in its 30-minute version, which I know she could speak about that for probably a week, but it was really, really great to hear her talk and share that passion. Michael did a talk on his sort of ways that he explores the national parks too, and gave some great advice on how to take more advantage of the parks. And Michael does some really cool stuff where he does a lot of like of really organizing and collecting a lot of the you can call them souvenirs, but a lot of them are memories, right? And he kind of combines, whether there's the stamps, the patches, the photos, and he puts them together in all these wonderful little notebooks and stuff like that. And that was really kind of cool to see how we kind of share the parks afterwards, not only just with ourselves, but with others. And so I thought that was kind of cool as well.
You know what else? What I thought was cool from that talk is that, she had briefly mentioned stampers, and you guys know what a stamper is, right? It's somebody that just goes around and collects the stamps, doesn't spend any time in the park or learn much about these things, and then boom, they're out of there onto the next park.
Yeah.
And it kind of dawned on me that in some ways we can be that way. We go in, we get our picture, we get the icon, scoot around a little bit, and we're out of there. And, I think, where was it? It was Yellowstone. Chris and I in Yellowstone this past winter, where we were not doing any lectures during the day on this workshop because of COVID restrictions. And it gave us time to actually read signs and learn about the history of the park. And so often that's missing from, I think, it can be missing from photographers' vacations there, because we're so focused on getting the shot that we're missing a lot of what the park, whether it be the history or the natural history or whatever. So I don't want to be a stamper.
Yeah,
and I'm afraid I have been most of my life.
And it's not just like getting the shot, but it's like so oftentimes getting the iconic shot of the iconic location. And you guys just reminded me of something that Michael Kenna has talked about in his lectures for a long time about, most people, when you go to a location for the first time, the first thing you photograph are, the really great shot. Even if it's not an iconic location, there's usually something that's pretty obvious to photograph, right? And you get that and you see it right away, but it's only with extended visits or repeat visits, going back to the same place over and over and over again, that you see the more subtle and less obvious but equally interesting and lovely photographs. So, and that's something that I've always enjoyed going back to locations, whether it's Eastern Sierra or Ireland or Iceland, because there's always more to photograph, even in the same 10 square meters.
Yeah, I agree. I get that question a lot when I do talks on shooting the parks. That, have you shot every park? I'm like, no, and it's never been my ambition to, because Lance, like you said, I like to go back to the places I love over and over. Like I've been to Acadia, I've lost track. It's got to be 15, 16 times now, specifically because of that. I want to find those places. I want to find sort of the magic at different seasons and in different light conditions and in different weather. And To me, that's a lot more interesting. I don't have anything against people who want to visit all 62 parks or something, but just from an artistic standpoint, I like to really dive deep, by revisiting.
Hey, isn't that part of our mission statement, though, to visit all 62 parks?
Yep, over and over and over again.
That's
over
right.
and over and over.
And Chris, how many times are you going to go to Hot Springs National Park? You're going to revisit that a lot?
No, probably not. I said my favorite ones.
You know what's interesting, I think, about shooting the parks and shooting what we do that I think we often forget about is that really that natural world or that natural beauty is just a muse for us, right? So for me, it's not about capturing the icon and saying I've got it, or getting to the park and saying I've been there. But literally, when we put ourselves into those positions, that's our muse, right? That's what gets us excited. Whereas when we walk out the door and we see, the same old buildings and the same old landscape around us, it becomes so ingrained in our everyday seeing that we're just not enthused about it. And so people often think, oh, we've got to get out to, such and such a place to become enthused or to become inspired. But I really think that's that canvas that the national parks or beautiful locations provide for us is really just the inspiration that gets us out of our day-to-day head, our day-to-day thinking, and puts us into that creative zone. And so, any way that we can get in that creative zone is we're going to produce better pictures. It just so happens that for most of us, arriving in a new national park or even one we visited many times, that inspiration starts to well up. And I think the main reason for that is, again, just because we've left our day-to-day concerns and worries and thoughts and jobs and family and COVID and everything else, and our mind is wide open. And for that moment or for that hour or for that night or for that week, we're open. We're open to stimulus and we're ready to create. And I think that's the really important thing to remember about that. It's just the impetus to get us going, to get us into that spot.
God, you made me just want to go out and shoot.
Well, it's funny because, here I am in Montana, and I am 10 minutes away from beauty all around here. And I haven't been out shooting, been working, doing whatever, but, doing Netflix and, and I've not been out shooting. And it's because I am so accustomed to it, Right. And I think it's a good lesson, and I'm talking to myself here more than anybody. It's like, get out and do it, get inspired, put yourself into that moment, that Zen moment of no mind where we can just really be free and create. And that's, I think, what we all love about photography is that moment when we're not thinking about everything else, but we are thinking about creating.
Yeah. And isn't that harder to do in your own familiar environment?
Much harder.
But now's the time that we actually, right, a lot of us aren't traveling and going out and getting maybe to the parks as much. I mean, some people are definitely picking up the van life is, obviously skyrocketing, but also exploring at home. And, Klaus and I are here at Astoria Park. We haven't bumped into another photographer. We've seen some joggers and some walkers and some dog, people and stuff. Not a lot, though. Players. And and I've noticed this also in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, that Nancy and I've done a couple of walks at night. And I'm like, I got to document my neighborhood at night because it's actually now looking like I could document it like the early 1900s, when there's no people, there's, it's really, it's quiet and nice and safe, and if you don't feel safe, bring someone with, Klaus, where are you? No. But now's the time to, making sure that you're, that you are still exercising the trigger finger, the mind, the heart, the soul.
There he is.
And shooting, and remember, get out of DX mode.
Yeah. That's the moral of the night.
But Gabe, there's no coma in DX mode.
What's that?
There's no coma in DX mode.
There is no coma, and you know what? I actually got a really good detail shot of Hell's Gate that I'm really excited about, and that maybe I would have obviously seen the crop, but it is interesting to play around with those modes. And again, I just came out here with the 24-70 lens tonight. I'm on the Vespa. I was keeping it simple. I figured that would cover my needs. And plus, I knew that Klaus, as a fellow Nikon shooter, has every other lens. But it was it is fun to kind of, hey, you got to get a little bit tighter, and you only have that 70, but you need to actually get to 100 or something. You can get in there and just play to that sweet spot of that sensor and lens.
Well, speaking of an image question, sorry, Walter asked, what are you calling in on here, Gabe?
Walter wants me to be calling in on the new iPhone 12. Walter, I don't have it. That's why it's so dark and muddy out here. I didn't bring a NAN light, and I didn't bring, the new iPhone 12. Next time you see me on a phone, Walter, I promise I'll be on the iPhone
12. Sorry, Chris, I cut you off. You were going to ask something?
No, that's okay. Gabe, what you're talking about reminds me, and coming back to your question before, of one of the talks that I saw at OPTIC, and there was the Lisa Langle, and she was talking about was five rules of nature photography you should be breaking. And I was excited to get to see her because I live in the Charlotte area, and she just spoke to the Charlotte Camera Club. I spoke to them a few months ago, and so I heard she was really good, and then saw she was talking at OPTIC, and that was a great idea for a talk. Like one of the things she was talking about was, she was really talking about wildlife photography, and how nature photographers are always, as a whole, really trying to nail exposure and get everything in the dynamic range and everything. And she said that's one of the rules to break. Like, try shooting wildlife high key. And she was showing some great examples of that, and just letting the sky blow out, and she was doing some really wild work. And she was talking about the business aspect too of, it's sort of common knowledge in fine art that you're not going to sell wildlife photos for interiors. That just people don't buy them for that use. And so she was talking about, shoot artistically, shoot in a way where it is going to work. But you're just talking about ties into that too, about, you were shooting DX by accident, but then you embraced it and did a photo you really liked.
Right.
So yeah, her talk was good too. I think that's always a good thing to keep in mind, that, we learn all these photography rules and there's a reason. But once you master them, the next step is to look for ways to break them, that they're going to help you level up as an artist.
We're going to have to introduce that woman to the households of Montana. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting an elk or a bald eagle on somebody's wall out here in Montana.
Is that the stuffed taxidermy version or a photograph of one too?
Oh, both. They'll be side by side. You'll have a stuff up on the wall, and then
the same one. Let me get the picture of the elk, and then I'll kill it and mount it on the wall next to the picture.
So, Gabe, there was a contest that you were judging also.
So, yes, they Luxley sponsored the night photography contest, and they asked me to be the preliminary judge, and then I picked out a couple that I thought there was a lot of good images. There was over 500, I think, night photography images that were submitted.
Wow.
490 of those were from Lance.
And I didn't get in.
I did see some, when I saw the images, some people smartly put their name on it. So if I was going to be biased to someone, I could see what they could see. But didn't you submitting stuff? But a lot of people, the name, the all I could see was the title, whatever, the DCS, whatever. Name of the, so folks, name your freaking files, your name, or in the place or whatever. I mean, because I did, I saw shot that was made it very close, that was taken on the main workshop, and was taken at from Neowise and
that was beautiful. That shot was great.
And that was Neowise on Monhegan Island. Really good. I thought that composition was actually better than Lance's.
Me too. Me too. And the processing was significantly better as well.
You know what?
Oh, man. You can just hire her to teach a workshop with you, man.
But no, there was a lot of great ones, and then I submitted my favorites. I posted them up on our internal little channel that we've got, and you guys, I was leaning towards the winner that now we chose, but I was leaning towards that one. But you guys kind of were like, it's that. I mean, that one's good. That's a good one. But this one was epic, and it was another Neowise, and I was happy to actually pick a Neowise image, just because that's Neowise. I think was so important this year to just get people out and just unite people, and it also was a surprise, right? I mean, this is something on the Hail Bop, sort of level that we didn't even know about, and we got to experience it for weeks, and we planned a workshop all around it because we knew. So it was this epic one of the sand dune. I forget what sand dune, but the sand dune was huge, and then the comet was perfectly placed, and it was really nicely processed too. It had a very nice, cool tone to it, which I really, I wasn't over processed, but it was a nice tune. Little known fact, that person, for the first time ever at OPTIC, I don't know if David announced this, but the person who won the night photography contest also won the I think landscape contest.
Wow.
So the first time that one person has won both, and it was totally different people judging. The person who was judging landscape, we didn't coordinate, but we found out right before. We're like, oh, what do we do? And we had to check all the fine print of the rules and all that kind of stuff just to make sure. But I was like, listen, I said, why do you, I shouldn't have to change my choice. That was, the clear winner here. And it was legit, and really congratulations to that person. I'm spacing on his name, but great job. His landscape shot, I think, was also, I probably would have chose because it was one of the best shots I've ever seen of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I've seen one or two of the Golden Gate Bridge, but it was during all the haze of the fires, the sunlight coming in, and just a perfect long exposure of the water crashing against the rocks. It was the lighting was perfect, and a totally different image than his night image. His night image was very cool and really nicely toned, and this one was a little bit more straight, but so warm and again a unique take on a very familiar place. So circling back to revisiting and keep exploring and keep reinterpreting and pushing yourself.
Are those images available on the OPTIC website?
So I think they will be, but I saw B&H just posted it on their Instagram. They posted day one winners. I think they posted that on Monday's Instagram on B&H Photo, and they might have posted day two's winners today, maybe.
All right, cool.
So yeah, check out B&H Instagram. But also, again, you guys I know there was a lot to watch at OPTIC, but you can still see the main stage. I always tell people, you go to OPTIC, forget about the main stage. Come and visit me in the expert lounge, because that's live. And now the main stage you can see whenever you want. It's going to be up there for good. Come and hang out with me. Come on, I need someone to hang out with. Look at me. I'm just like, this is my first time outside, and I'm going bonkers.
Oh man,
we're gonna have to limit your caffeine intake after 6 p.m., Gabriel.
Well, I bet you want to get back to shooting, Gabe.
I do. We got a couple more angles we got to get, and yeah, exactly. So, all
right. Well,
any questions? Are we good? This has been fun hanging out with you guys.
I have a question. Is there going to be an Instagram Live this week?
So there is no Instagram Live this week, folks. We were going to have it, but the person who was going to be on kind of just canceled last minute. So I think I'm going to just, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take the night off, but we'll come back fast and furious with more the Wednesday after.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Or should we go right to Instagram Live now?
And have costs on.
I'll see you there in 30 seconds. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Next week. So not this week, but
Yeah.
we'll see you on, I think, December 2nd.
Yep. Well, I guess that just brings it to this, which is this is a good time for everybody to take stock and think about being grateful and, stay safe. And, let's think about our creativity while we're being grateful. So
Absolutely.
Lots of
Thanks
good
everybody
things
for joining us.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Big hug to Klaus for me, Gabriel.
yeah. We miss Klaus.
Good seeing you, Klaus.
And we
See
miss,
ya.
we miss everybody
Bye,
else too.
everyone.
Take care, Gabe. So,
Right.
hey, you guys have any closing parting thoughts?
well, yeah. Just speaking of being thankful, I am so thankful to have you guys in my life and to work with and to go out and photograph with. And man, I could not feel more blessed than to have such great partners as you guys and to be able to do what we do and meet so many cool people when we get to go out and do workshops. So I'm so looking forward to that again.
Same.
And likewise to all the people that come and hang with us on workshops. I'm thankful for them. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without y'all. So,
We're
but
very
yeah, you're
grateful.
absolutely right, Lance. I'm so thankful for y'all.
It's been a rough pandemic, but it's been great to see everyone and interact with everyone this way. I have to say, that's it's the sense of our family. You can call it community. I'll call it family. That we've now, where our family keeps growing, and that is just very, very honored to be part of it, and very, very, it's great. So. I guess, when are we sending out? Are we doing a Thanksgiving Zoom all together with everyone, or what's going on?
Woo! Turkey Day.
Let's take that
All
offline.
500.
Right on.
Right.
Right.
But maybe next week we'll have a live gift guide discussion. That'll be fun.
Hey, there you go.
Mm.
All right. Well, hey, happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys, and thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight.
Thank you so much.
Hope you guys are safe and going to make the most of this holiday and enjoy it. So
Happy
we'll see you
Thanksgiving.
after.
Great seeing y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.